Chapter 71. The Opiate of the Masses. On! Disney's so fucking racist! Get away from me, you fucking Catholic! I yelled in a proletarian voice. Karl Marx said religion was the opiate of the masses! No. The Catholic Church is different now, lied Snape in a close-minded reactionary way. Haven't you heard? Pope Francis is so progressive and left-wing. He even criticizes capitalism. Christian socialism is but the holy water with which the priest consecrates the heart burnings of the aristocrat, I replied, using the words of fucking Marx in a progressive way for the working class of workers working. At that point, Luna progressively reached where we were and stood next to me in the comradely way of the proletariat. She was still topless, although I didn't care about how I was getting to see her delicious tits with their areolas and nipples. Where is your shirt, child? Asked Snape religiously. I have it! Yelled Dean in the lying voice of Trotskyism as he ran up to us while holding the shirt he had abusively pulled off Luna in a sexist way. Miss Lovegood, put your shirt on now and we shall overlook this unfortunate incident, said Snape in the misogynist voice of Christianity. Don't get mad at Luna, you fucking Catholic! I yelled in a feminist voice. It was that fucking Trotsky D. Thomas who tore off her! Silence! Commanded Snape in the elitist voice of sexist traditional values. I don't care who fucking did it. The important thing is that we should all be ashamed of the human body, especially the female body, and it's always the woman's fault when she's exposed. Amen. Chapter 72. Sexist Snape. Author's not! Jeremy Corbyn is another social shit fascist like Bernie Sanders! Breit shook vote for Robert Griffiths! If that's how it's going to be, said Luna bravely in a feminist voice of radical change, then I shall not put on my shirt! Free the nipple! She said while holding her hand up in a feminist fist. The dainty hand which she had clutched into a working-class fist was really sexually enticing, but I ignored that part. This vanity is fucking sinful, said Snape as he made in the sign of the cross. Dean fucking sexually assaulted Luna! I yelled in a progressive non-mansplaining voice for women everywhere. Does that count as sinful? Oh, boys will be boys, dismissed Snape sexistly. Anyway, Luna will be fucking punished for her sinful vanity. You want to be topless, Miss Lovegood? You got it! Then he misogynistically did an apparition spell, and we religiously appeared right outside the imperialistic gate of the bourgeois Hogwarts School of Corporate Capitalism. On the other side of the gate was Hagrid, our other comrades with him, and the anti-Semitic Fort Anglia. Harry, you're alright, said Ginny, running forward with her gorgeous wet hair flying behind her in a beautifully feminine way, which I didn't care about. By the way, she was referring to me being uninjured rather than falsely asserting that I was fucking right-wing. We thought you'd never get out of fucking there, said Ron comradely in the cheerful voice of the proletariat. Blimey, what happened to Luna's shirt? Asked Hagrid monarchically. She wanted to be topless, and she's getting to be topless, laughed Snape in a fucking Catholic voice. I actually don't mind people seeing me topless, said Luna while not being ashamed of her own body with the gorgeous teats which nature not sexually gave her. The vanity! Shouted Snape in a close-minded liberal voice. Come with me, young lady. You shall be taken to my office for your fucking righteous punishment before our Lord God and also Jesus. Chapter 73. Snape takes Luna away. Some people are saying that I've gone too far by attacking Jeremy Corbyn. Too far towards revolution, they mean! Vote Corbyn! No! Yelled Luna as Snape dragged her away by her arm, with her shirt still gone and her perky boobs on display for everyone, which she didn't care about, and neither did I. Let her go, you fucking Catholic! I yelled in a proletarian voice of working-class feminism. I started to run towards her, but I was grabbed by fucking Hagrid! Women today already walk around practically naked, but it's still not enough for you liberals, said Hagrid in an evil voice. It's never enough. You liberals won't be happy until you've destroyed the few standards we have left. I am not a fucking liberal! I yelled righteously in a voice of socialist truth. Meanwhile, Snape pulled Luna in through the front door of Hogwarts. Her exposed breasts jiggled non-sexually as she was pulled through the door, but I paid no attention to that uninteresting detail, as I was busy thinking comradely about how I might snap Hagrid out of his reactionary false consciousness. I came up fucking empty.
Are they all here?
Asked Professor McGonagall as she racistly walked out of the castle like a white slave owner about to whip black people who were fucking slaves because of their race and for no other reason. All but Miss Lovegood, said Hagrid in a neo-reactionary way of the monarchist far right. We got 'em all out of the forest, but Professor Snape took her for a fucking punishment.
Well, that seems to be in order,
said McGonagall in a white supremacist way.
You're all going to fucking bed now,
she said to us. Dean cringed slightly at how racist she was being, but I didn't feel sorry for him, because he was a fucking Trotskyist! Chapter 74. Some bourgeois lies. Anne, if you can't see how McGonagall is racist, you're the fucking racist! The next day, we all went downstairs for fucking breakfast. That bourgeois intellectual liberal Hermione was reading the Daily Prophet, which ought to be renamed the Daily Prophet for big capitalists who get rich off of fucking wars. The headline read, Nymphadora Tonks goes naked and joins Death Eaters because she hates freedom. And there was a moving picture of Tonks riding naked, with her sexy areas censored bourgeoisly, although I wouldn't have been turned on by them anyway on the big fucking broomstick we took from Azkaban.
Have you heard the latest news?
Asked Hermione in her ivory tower of bourgeois privilege and elitism.
Tonks was sent to Azkaban for being a Death Eater, but then she brutally murdered the kind-hearted warden of Azkaban for no good reason and stole the big fucking broomstick. She's now flying around naked because she's a dangerous sexual deviant and maybe a pedophile. She's also been fighting against the Ministry, which means she's on the side of the Death Eaters. I can't believe we were ever friends with that unpatriotic traitor.
It's all fucking lies! I yelled in a righteous voice for the proletariat. I was there! I escaped fucking Azkaban with her!
Funny, you aren't mentioned in the story at all,
said Hermione in the voice of the petite bourgeoisie.
You're welcome, Harry,
said the cheerful voice of oppression behind me. I turned around and saw the fucking war criminal Dumbledore! What the fuck? I yelled loudly in the loud voice of radical progressivism. Why aren't I in the fucking paper?
I went to the Ministry,
explained Dumbledore in the libertarian voice of lies,
and cleared up the unfortunate misunderstanding about you being sent to Azkaban by accident. Once I explained how the misunderstanding happened, they quickly agreed to clear your name. In order to protect your reputation, it was decided that the incident would not even be reported. Isn't that wonderful?
It was not a fucking accident, I yelled in a working man's voice. It was fucking social injustice! By the way, where's fucking Luna?
Oh, that reminds me,
laughed Dumbledore corporately.
I have an announcement to make.
Then he ran up to the front of the Great Hall while still dressed as the fucking Monopoly Man! Chapter 75. What Snape Did. Out there, note, the UN has made an unusually progressive decision for once. Now anyone who flams this story will be reported to the UN for fucking cyber violence!
I have a fucking announcement to make,
said Dumbledore while standing behind his podium and probably reading off a teleprompter because that conservative fuckhole could never make a real speech.
Professor Snape has given Luna Lovegood a fucking detention for a week. He will spend the entire week in his office punishing her. All potions classes are cancelled until Miss Lovegood's 168-hour detention is over.
What the fucking hell? I yelled in the proletarian voice of feminism while not mansplaining at all.
It's a little strange,
Dumbledore admitted evilly.
But as a libertarian I cannot impose my own beliefs on Professor Snape. That would take away his freedom to live his life as he sees fit.
What about fucking Luna's freedom? I asked Canadianly.
I'm sorry, but I simply cannot regulate Professor Snape's behavior,
said Dumbledore oppressively.
That would contradict the non-aggression principle, which is at the very heart of my libertarian beliefs. I wouldn't go after Professor Snape for this if I were you,
said Hermione bourgeoisly.
After all, he's a fucking Catholic, and Pope Francis is so amazingly progressive.
He is not fucking progressive! I shrieked in the proletarian voice of the working class people. He's a fucking Catholic! Look up his stance on fucking gay marriage!
Maybe he's not perfect, but he's ultimately on your side,
replied Hermione in a liberal voice of intellectual elitism. He is not! I yelled in a revolutionary way. Religion is the opiate of the masses. Opium is never on the side of the people! Anyway, it's time for fucking divination class. Chapter 76. Harry goes to class for the people. Author note, Putin is a fucking fascist! But he's fighting against American fascists now, so I fucking support him anyway! We all went fucking upstairs to divination class. I was wearing jeans even though they were a fucking bourgeois symbol of fucking capitalism! However, it was okay when I did it because I was wearing them ironically. When we got to the North Tower, the tower where divination class fucking happened, we saw that the stone of the tower had been replaced by ivory, so that the North Tower was now made of ivory. What the fuck? I yelled proletarianly as we walked into the classroom, which was inside the tower called the North Tower and now made of ivory. The tower, not the classroom. Although the tower was made of stone previously, and not ivory like the tower called the North Tower was now. Welcome, my pupils, said Professor Trelawney in a fucking strange voice. I'm afraid we will not be doing much fucking divination today.
No! Fuck you!
Screamed Parvati and Lavender in erotically exotic voices, although I didn't care about what their voices sounded like or how sexually enticing they were. Then they both put up their middle fingers at Trelawney. The fingers were sleek and feminine, but I feministly ignored that insignificant detail. Because of everything that's been going on at Hogwarts, Trelawney continued. I have had my own political awakening, and we shall be discussing that. I believe we need to tear down everything and create a society where everyone is equal before we destroy this fucking planet. You mean you're a fucking communist? I asked revolutionarily, hoping progressively that we had a fucking teacher on our side.
Oh no, I'm an anarcho-primitivist,
said Trelawney while sipping her tea, lounging in her chin's armchair, and playing an iPhone game on her crystal ball, while being in her tower, which was called the North Tower and made of ivory. Chapter 77. The Ivory Tower. Author's note, America wouldn't be fascistly bombing hospitals in Afghanistan if that treacherous fuck Gorbachev had allowed the Soviet Union to fucking liberate Afghanistan from imperialism!
Wow, that sounds new and interesting,
said Ron all cluelessly with his false consciousness.
What's an anarcho-primitivist anyway? I'm glad you asked,
said Trelawney in the bourgeois voice of the ivory tower called the North Tower.
Basically, we anarcho-primitivists are a community which talks to each other in the internet about how all of civilization was a mistake and how we need to go back to living in caves. Forgive me if this is an obvious question,
said Ginny in the sexy voice of the proletariat.
But why aren't you living in a cave then? I didn't ask to be a slave to civilization!
Replied Trelawney in a fucking hypocritical voice as she sipped her fucking expensive tea.
I was fucking born this way! Why? Why? But what's so terrible about civilization?
Asked Parvati in a sexually exotic voice. I didn't get distracted by how incredibly arousing the voice was, like gaming misogynists do whenever Anita Sarkeesian is talking.
What's wrong with civilization?
Repeated Trelawney in a gasping voice of bourgeois shock.
Civilization is destroying this fucking planet! Once upon a time, everyone was happy and equal and ran around naked all day with no clothes on. Then some lazy idiot came along and invented agriculture for no reason, and everything was fucking ruined!
Chapter 78. Trelawney says insane things. Anne, Anita Sarkeesian is arousing. You neck-bred Goobergate trolls just don't want to admit that your opposition to her comes from your suppressed sexual attraction. You're talking about primitive communism, I explained wisely in a rebellious way. It's the first of Karl Marx's stages of history. It's followed by slave society, feudalism, and then our current stage of fucking capitalism! To get to communism again, we must advance forward to socialism. Going backwards is reactionary, so you're fucking right wing!
Oh, I don't care about that, because I'm a post-leftist,
said Trelawney fascistly. Well, what happens when the fucking capitalists show up to destroy your anarcho-primitivist community? I asked progressively. Are you going to defeat them with spears? That didn't work out so well for the Native Americans genocided by fucking America! The revolution needs to be protected from capitalist invasion by a strong leader like fucking Stalin!
The collapse of civilization is coming!
Trelawney insisted insanely.
We've destroyed the planet so much that it's become fucking inevitable! When it happens, everyone will become wild again at the same time, and we'll all live happily ever after! It can't come soon enough for me! We're really lucky to be living in this amazing time when civilization is finally ending! In the meantime, all we can do is spread anarcho-primitivism, avoid GMO foods, and not wear bras!
You're not wearing a bra? Asked eagerly that sexist idiot Anthony Goldstein in the sexist voice of male sexual entitlement.
Well, actually I am!
Trelawney admitted hypocritically in the voice of the bourgeois ivory tower.
But not wearing bras is an example of what we anarcho-primitivists can do!
Chapter 79. Anthony hates all women, even his mother. Anne, it's so exciting to see today's students repeating the great success of Mao's Red Guards. This could be the start of the revolution, comrades!
Hey, Comrade Harry!
Cried that fucking sexist Anthony Goldstein to me as we left divination. You're no fucking comrade of mine! I yelled back progressively.
I don't understand why you won't let me join the fucking Warsaw Pact!
Whined Anthony in a mansplaining way.
I'm on the left and support the working classes and everything! It's just that I also think Anita Sarkeesian is a piece of hypocritical shit with lies and contradictory double standards.
Fuck off, you fucking socialist! I yelled feministly and then I cast a curse at him, which made him fly off the staircase we were on, and he fell down 100 feet and broke his arm.
Potter, look what you did!
Screamed McGonagall in a voice of internalized misogyny.
30 points from Gryffindor!
I did that for all women! I explained revolutionarily while raising a fist for the proletarian women of the revolution. Including you, you fucking chill girl!
I don't know what that means, but I'll take 2 points from Gryffindor for it!
Said McGonagall, reinforcing the bourgeois status quo of the imperialist establishment of fucking capitalism! Come on, comrades, I said to the Warsaw Pact. Let's go to the Great Hall to eat fucking lunch! Chapter 80. The Racism of the Dumbledore. Anne, Mao fucking saved China! And Deng Xiaoping was a capitalist roader who probably hated black people. We went to the Great Hall only to find that it was decorated with decorations culturally appropriated from exploited cultures around the world.
Surprise!
Said Dumbledore, with his hair in dreadlocks and wearing a Native American war bonnet, a bindi and a kimono with a traditional Mexican poncho over it.
Today, we're celebrating diversity by taking part in all the cultures of the world at once.
This is fucking cultural appropriation! I yelled in the working man's voice of the proletariat.
No, this is cultural appreciation,
laughed Dumbledore fascistly.
You need to learn to tell the difference. Who's up for the first belly dancing contest?
I am, shouted Ron ignorantly. No, Ron! Stay away from this! I explained to him rebelliously. This is fucking racism! We're just commodifying indigenous cultures for use by white people, explained Professor Pepsi, who was dressed like an African-American slave complete with blackface.
What's wrong with that? Don't you believe in free market?
No, I fucking don't! I yelled back gloriously, in the voice of the people exploited by racist capitalist imperialism against people of color.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that,
said Professor Pepsi corporately.
You stupid Reds think we should all just wait in line 6 million hours for our toilet paper. You seem stressed, Harry,
said Dumbledore in the libertarian voice of racial exploitation.
Perhaps you'd like to, as they say in Mexico, abre tu corazón,
he said, holding up a bottle of Coca-Cola.